Have you ever wondered why so many men over 60 find themselves waking up over and over during the night, standing half asleep in the bathroom with a weak stream and quietly fearing that their masculinity is fading away? Most assume it's just age, something natural, something they have no choice but to accept. But after decades of listening to patients pour out their frustrations in my office, I can tell you with absolute certainty that belief is wrong and it's costing men their peace of mind. I've seen men who thought surgery or lifelong medication were their only options. Men who looked exhausted and defeated, convinced they had no way back. And yet, the real driver of their suffering often isn't age at all. It's something much simpler, something hidden in plain sight. The truth is that most of them are silently deficient in key vitamins, nutrients. Their bodies desperately need to keep the prostate calm and balanced. Without them, the gland swells, the nights become restless, and confidence slips away. But when the body finally receives what it has been missing, the change can be dramatic and surprisingly fast. I've watched men go from waking 5 or 6 times a night to sleeping peacefully again, from feeling chained to the nearest restroom to finally reclaiming their independence. That is why I'm here to reveal the 5 overlooked vitamins I've seen make the difference again and again. By the end of this message, you'll know exactly which ones they are, how they work inside your body, and the simple steps you can take starting tonight. So stay with me because the very first vitamin is one I call the silent protector, and it may already be the missing piece in your own life. When I look back at the men who come into my office with swollen prostates, restless nights, and faces drained of energy, there is one silent pattern that almost always shows up: dangerously low vitamin D. You won't feel this deficiency like a broken bone or a sharp pain. It creeps in quietly, and that's what makes it so dangerous. Inside the prostate, the absence of vitamin D is like pulling the brakes off inflammation. It gives free rein to swelling cell overgrowth, and that constant pressure that makes every trip to the bathroom a struggle. Now, here's the part that shocks most of my patients. Studies from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism show that men with low vitamin D are significantly more likely to develop prostate enlargement. Yet almost every man over 60 I test is deficient. Why? Because our skin loses the ability to make vitamin D efficiently with age. Add in more time spent indoors, cloudy winters, and constant sunscreen, and deficiency becomes almost guaranteed. I remember one man in his late 60s who was waking up 5 or 6 times every night. He was ready to sign up for surgery, but when we checked his blood, his vitamin D was nearly non-existent. We started supplementation, and within weeks, he was sleeping through most nights for the first time in years. The look on his face when he told me he felt human again, that's something I'll never forget. Vitamin D isn't just about bones or immunity. In the prostate, it's the peacekeeper, calming the immune cells that trigger swelling and restoring balance between testosterone and DHT, the very hormone that fuels prostate growth. Correcting it doesn't require miracles. Sometimes just a high-quality supplement taken consistently is enough to soften the tissue, relax the gland, and give men back the nights they thought they'd lost forever. But here's the twist. Most men miss even when vitamin D restores balance. The prostate still faces another silent enemy, oxidative stress, the invisible rust that eats away at cells every single day. And that's exactly where the next nutrient, vitamin E, becomes a game changer. Even when vitamin D helps restore peace inside the prostate, there is another silent enemy working day and night: oxidative stress. I often describe it to my patients as invisible rust. Just like rust eats away at the metal frame of a car, Oxidative stress slowly damages prostate cells
glad we could
until the
do this
gland
today.
stiffens, swells,
too.
and
It's
stops
a
working the
beautiful
way
day
it
for
should.
a walk.
That's why vitamin E is so powerful. It's not just a nutrient printed on a supplement bottle. For the prostate, it's armor and antioxidant shield that defends every cell from daily attack. Research in the Journal of Urology shows that men with higher vitamin E intake have lower levels of oxidative damage in prostate tissue, which translates into fewer symptoms and a stronger urinary flow. I've seen this play out in real life. One gentleman in his early 70s described feeling like his bladder was trapped in a vice. Every trip to the bathroom was stressful, and he lived in constant fear of leaking. After adjusting his diet and adding a natural vitamin E supplement, specifically one with mixed tocopherols, he returned months later with tears in his eyes, telling me for the first time in years, he felt free. His flow was stronger. The urgency had eased, and he could finally sit through an entire church service without panic. Vitamin E works because it reduces the constant cellular rusting that comes with aging stress and poor diet. When those free radicals are neutralized, the prostate can soften, the urethra is no longer strangled, and urination becomes easier, smoother, less painful. It's not an overnight miracle, but rather like putting a protective shield over a weakened system so it has room to heal. Combined with foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, and spinach, the natural form of vitamin E becomes one of the most effective tools to keep the prostate from further decline. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. While vitamin E shields the prostate from oxidative attack, there is still a fire burning inside many men, a fire of inflammation that no armor alone can extinguish. And that's where vitamin C steps in, acting like a cooling force that can finally put out the flames. Even with vitamin E guarding the prostate like armor, many men still describe a constant burning deep inside as if there's a fire they can't put out. That burning sensation, that irritation that makes urination painful and nights unbearable is inflammation. And it is one of the most destructive forces I see in my patients. Left unchecked, it fuels swelling, presses harder on the bladder, and makes men feel chained to the bathroom. This is where vitamin C becomes a game changer. People often think of it as the cold vitamin, but inside the prostate, it does something far more critical. It cools the fire. Studies published in Clinical Nutrition confirm that higher vitamin C intake reduces markers of inflammation and supports faster tissue repair. In simple terms, it's like pouring water on a blaze that has been smoldering for years. I'll never forget one patient in his late 60s who told me, "Doctor, it feels like I can never empty my bladder, no matter how many times I try." His diet was almost void of fruits and vegetables, and his vitamin C levels were dangerously low. After we rebuilt his nutrition and added supplementation, the change was remarkable. The burning eased, his trips to the bathroom slowed, and for the first time in years, he felt confident leaving his house without scanning for the nearest restroom. Vitamin C also strengthens collagen in the bladder walls, giving men more control and reducing urgency. And when combined with vitamin E, the two act like partners, one cooling the fire, the other shielding the cells, creating an environment where true healing can finally begin. Correcting this deficiency doesn't have to be complicated. Citrus fruits, peppers, berries, or a high-quality supplement can start shifting things within weeks. But here's the part that most men have never even heard of. While vitamin C fights inflammation on the surface, there is another nutrient working deep behind the scenes, quietly conducting hormones and calcium, directing them like a maestro. That hidden conductor is vitamin K2, and once you understand its role, the whole picture of prostate health begins to change. Even after calming the fire with vitamin C, many men are still left wondering why their prostate feels hard, rigid, almost like it's locked in place. What they don't realize is that calcium, the very mineral meant to strengthen bones, can sometimes drift into the wrong places, settling inside the prostate like unwanted cement. That's where vitamin K2 steps in, and most men have never even heard its name. Vitamin K2 works like a quiet conductor, guiding calcium to the bones where it belongs and away from the soft tissues where it causes damage. Without enough K2, calcium begins to harden prostate tissue, trigger inflammation, and intensify urinary pressure. I once treated a man in his 70s who had been told surgery was his only option. He felt a constant weight on his bladder, a relentless pressure that made him miserable. When we tested his nutrition, K2 was nearly absent. After adding a high-quality supplement and adjusting his diet within months, he described feeling as though his body had finally loosened its grip. His flow was steadier, the pressure less suffocating, and for the first time in years, he felt comfortable in his own skin. Science backs this up. Research in the European Journal of Nutrition shows that vitamin K2 not only helps prevent calcium buildup in arteries, but also supports hormone balance when paired with vitamin D. And that's critical because DHT, the hormone that fuels prostate growth, becomes much more manageable when D and K2 work together. This duo softens tissue, calms swelling, and reduces those nightly bathroom interruptions that rob men of sleep. Correcting K2 deficiency isn't complicated. Foods like fermented cheese, natto, and egg yolks are natural sources, but for many men, supplementation provides the consistency their bodies desperately need. The results aren't dramatic in a single night, but over weeks and months. The gland begins to soften, the urgency fades, and life feels more free again. But let me take you one step further, because while vitamin K2 balances hormones and directs calcium, there's still the question of energy, stamina, and circulation. And that's where the family of B vitamins comes in, turning the lights back on for men who feel their bodies slowing down. Even after hormones are balanced with vitamin K2, many men still look at me and say, "Doctor, I just feel drained. It's not only my prostate, it's my whole body slowing down." And they're right. Prostate problems rarely come alone. Fatigue, sluggish circulation, and brain fog are often part of the picture. And this is where the family of B vitamins makes a remarkable difference. Think of B vitamins as the spark plugs of your body. Without them, your system struggles to produce energy, and blood flow becomes sluggish, like traffic stuck in a jam. Among the most critical are B6, B12, and folate. Together, they lower levels of homocysteine, a hidden toxin in the blood that stiffens vessels, fuels inflammation, and quietly suffocates the prostate. When homocysteine drops, circulation improves, oxygen flows freely, and suddenly the prostate, along with the rest of the body, can finally breathe again. One of my patients, a man in his late 60s, told me he felt as if someone had turned down the dimmer switch on his life. His energy was gone, his focus was cloudy, and intimacy felt impossible. His labs revealed low B12 and folate. After several months of targeted supplementation, he returned like a different man, more stamina, clearer focus, and yes, fewer prostate symptoms. He smiled and told me, "Doctor, it feels like someone flipped the lights back on." The science agrees. Studies in circulation research confirm that lowering homocysteine with B vitamins not only improves cardiovascular health, but also reduces inflammation in the urinary tract. And that ripple effect can be life-changing. Because when energy returns and circulation flows, men regain not just prostate relief, but vitality across their entire system, body, mind, and even confidence in intimate moments. But here's the hidden truth that ties everything together. Your prostate problems aren't just the cruel hand of aging. They're often your body's cry for missing fuel. And once you give it back, the transformation can be profound. That's why in the conclusion, I'll pull all of these insights together and show you how these 5 vitamins form a natural defense system that could give you back peaceful nights, steady strength, and the freedom to feel like yourself again. After decades of listening to men share their struggles, one truth has become crystal clear. To me, prostate problems are not simply the cruel hand of aging. More often, they are the body's silent cry for missing fuel. When those nutrients are restored, the transformation can be astonishing. We've walked through vitamin D, the silent protector that calms inflammation and restores hormonal balance. We've seen how vitamin E shields cells from the invisible rust of oxidative stress, and how vitamin C cools the burning fire that robs men of peace. We uncovered the hidden role of vitamin K2, quietly guiding calcium and harmonizing hormones. And finally, the B vitamins, those spark plugs that restore energy circulation and vitality to the entire body. Together, these 5 vitamins form a natural defense system, not a quick fix, not a gimmick, but a foundation. They help soften swollen tissue, ease urinary pressure, and give back the nights of uninterrupted sleep that so many men thought were gone forever. They restore not only health, but dignity, confidence, and freedom. I have seen men walk into my office desperate and defeated, only to return weeks or months later with tears of relief in their eyes. They weren't saved by surgery or another prescription. They were saved by giving their body what it had been missing for far too long. And my message to you is simple. You are not powerless. The solution may already be within your reach, quietly waiting in your kitchen, or a simple supplement. So as you carry this knowledge with you, remember this: the truth no one told you may be the very truth that sets you free. And if you found this message valuable, don't let it end here. Save this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another life-changing health insight. And in the comments below, let me know,
we could do this today.
Do you feel like your
It's a
body
beautiful day for a
has
walk.
been missing these silent protectors type 1, if this speaks to you, or 0 if you're not sure yet? Your journey to reclaim your nights, your strength, and your independence starts now. So here's what I want you to remember. Your prostate health is not locked in by age. With the right nutrients, the swelling can calm down, the pressure can ease, and the nights you thought were lost can come back again. You deserve that freedom, that strength, that confidence. If this message gave you hope, don't just click away. Save this video so you can come back anytime and hit subscribe with the bell on, because I'll keep sharing the newest, most important tips for men's health. And tell me in the comments, do you believe these simple natural steps could change your life? Type 1 if you do, or 0 if you're not sure yet. Either way, your voice matters because your health matters.